Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do a bunch of stuff here, mostly beer-related stuff. A lot of beer reviews, and we've been doing it for quite some time, actually. 8 years, just a bit over 8 years, I've been kind of trudging at this channel and just drinking beer and talking about it. Have had an absolute blast along the way. I've met a bunch of different people online, became friends with a bunch of people online, became friends with people that I met through the channel. People that came to my wedding that I met through the YouTube channel. Let's put it that way. It's been an awesome ride, and we are going to film kind of a cheat video, which is our 4,000th beer review. At least the 4,000th one we posted. You're actually going to get two 4,000th beer reviews. Why? Let's talk about it. I wanted to film a 4,000th beer review. I didn't know what I wanted to review. I'm still not really going out and about and finding random beers all over the place. So, I kind of came across this kind of, this smoked rushy kind of stout from Dumoulin in combination with, Monk's Cafe out of Philly, and I was like, you know what, I'll just do that beer. Rosh beer's kind of fun right now, and it's an interesting beer, the way it was made. We'll just pick that one. Just pick it and go with it. So I filmed that review. I still want to post it, so you're going to watch that video. It's going to come up the same day as I post this video, and it's going to be beer review number 4000B, I guess you would say, because I'm going to post two videos. So we're going to post that one because I want to post it. I don't want to not post it. I don't want to re-review the beer, kind of get out of that kind of natural kind of mode and vibes. But the reason why we're re-reviewing it is because I ended up getting a beer that I think doesn't better exemplify 4,000 beer reviews, or the reason behind why I'm pumped about number 4,000, because that Dumoulin beer was fun, and it kind of rang true in a specific kind of way. And if you watch that video, you'll see I kind of talk about how it kind of makes sense, the way this beer is this way, and how my channel has kind of progressed. But my boy Carson, Scotch for Everyone, all one thing with little periods in between the words, has been sending me beer from quite some time. A lot of different beers over time. A lot of Southern Swells, a lot of different beers and stuff like that. And he ended up sending me this. Yeah, that's a 1999 Harvest Ale from G.W. Lee's, for those playing along at home. Yeah, this is, 23 years old. And I got this yesterday. This is April 30th. We're like 2 reviews away from hitting 4,000 beer reviews. And it just dawned on me, this is the perfect beer for me to do as my 4,000th beer review. Fancy Pants beer. We like Fancy Pants beer. Listen, I did Jenny Cream Ale as one of my tentpole beer reviews, so it doesn't have to be Fancy Pants. It's aged AF. I like that. Harvest Ale does not suck unless it's sideways. These older bottles can be kind of hit or miss. That's your part and parcel when it comes to aged beer. But it also came from Carson. Also came from a viewer, subscriber. And I thought, that's it. That's the ticket. That's the beer I wanted to review for 4,000. I just didn't know it because, like I said, I did Jenny Cream Ale, basic, simple beer. I did my first beer review is Corbinian, so last year I did that as a re-review, be like, okay, kind of pay homage to that. So I try to think of some kind of connection and when I hit those 1,000 year markers, or 1,000 video markers. And it just kind of makes sense. Like, a beer I love, a beer that someone knows I love because of the channel, that someone took their money, shipped to me, sent to me because they know they love it. That just kind of exemplifies the channel as a whole. Just that connection with y'all. So thank you very much, Carson, for sending this off. I am hyper excited to dive into this. 23-year-old beers, we don't get to drink them all that often. what do we got? Yeah, J.W. Lee's Harvest Ale. It's limited edition. Our first brew from the 1999 Harvest of Barley and Hops. So their Harvest Ale is kind of like their wet hop beer, their Harvest Ale. This is a fully fermented ale, has been brewed by J.W. Lee's and a celebration of the brewer's art since 1985. Harvest Ale can be enjoyed now or laid down like a vintage wine for enjoyment in years to come. 9.6 fluid ounces, 11.5% alcohol by volume. And on the back here, very small font. It says here, our first brew from the 1999 Harvest of Barley and Hops. To celebrate the occasion, we selected only the very finest Maris Otter malted barley and the choicest East Kent Goldings. As far as hops, Harvest Ale is brewed by the traditional method in open copper fermenting vessels to a very high original gravity and then fermented with our excellent Cervisia yeast. To produce a very special ale. Harvest Ale is one of the most unique yeasts in the game. So I'm a fan of it, even though it's, I know some people kind of turns them off. Harvest Ale is then stored and impart an excellent... let's do that again. Harvest Ale is then stored to impart excellent keeping qualities and to ensure that it will mature and improve with age. The result is an excellent full-bodied beer that can be enjoyed by itself or as an accompaniment to a meal. Limited edition, so it was the 1st of December 1999. And that'd be that. Yeah. Yeah, I think I talked about this in the unboxing. I believe I don't know if this is a reissue. That's the one thing about it, is that this label looks different than when I remember the 97, 99, 98 kind of labels. They were a bit more purple. I don't know if that's the case. Don't know. I'll have to reach out to my Be United folk and see what they have to say about that. So, here we go. This is going to tell us all we need to know. There was a hiss. I don't know if you could pick it up, but I didn't wash this glass. This is going to be Dirty Glass Mafia, by the way. This glass is completely clean, but I haven't used it in a year. So, you get dirty glasses. You get dusty glasses. Let's put it that way. That carbonation looks really good. Not gonna lie to you. We're off to an extremely fun start. But as far as the label does go, it's pretty cool. Classic to a T. And as far as the beer goes, there's microscopic Dirty Glass Mafia going on. I apologize. I pulled it out of my cupboard. It's a covered cupboard, but still get a little bit of dusties in there. This is actually from Town Hall Brewing, this glass. I love this. This is kind of my English Barleywine kind of old beer. I have this and a different one I like to use. So it looks exactly what I want my JW Lees to look like, which is really kind of a unique take because of how old this is. Typically, when I've dived into these kind of 20-plus-year-old beers, whether they be Old Stock, Hardy's, JW Lees, they tend to be quite a bit darker than this. So I'm thinking oxidation was kept at a minimum here. So it could be very well kept. I mean, look at that. 23 years. Look at that head on that beer. You don't see that. You don't see that in a lot of beers that are barrel aged. You don't see that in a lot of beers that are, 5 years, 10 years old. I mean, this thing is still kind of lively, even though the hiss wasn't big. I mean, it looks very, very, very promising as I spill everything everywhere. It's a beer review. It's what I do. So yeah, that doo-doo brown water that I love so much. Let's get a nose. I'm going to have a really, really, really hard time saying that this beer is really old. It comes off like more of like a 5-year-old JW Lees for me. It doesn't have that kind of over-the-top, like insane level kind of oldness, and which is usually a combination of like oxidation, a couple different things. And this JW Lees yeast, as I said not too long ago in a video, is hyper unique in and of itself. And really what I'm getting here is a really nice, rich kind of English style old ale / barley wine that's not overly kind of funky. Like the JWs tends to get a little bit funky, that open fermentation, those copper kettles, the way it kind of works, it tends to be a little bit funky. Here I'm just getting rich kind of deep figginess. I'm not getting like sugar daddy. I'm not getting I'm getting slight sugar daddy, but nothing too robust. I'm not getting like raisinettiness. I'm getting this really nice, rich, well done. Reminds me more of an Old Stock or Hardy's than an actual JW Lees, which is really, really strange. Because J.W. Lee's is typically bang on that unique, specific yeast strain that they're talking about in the bottle. It smells awesome. It smells just a little bit different. I'm just going to dive in. Cheers, y'all. That's J.W. Lee's. That is. Not mistaken. That yeast is super omnipresent. It's exactly what I expected. Just didn't really get it much on the nose. And I'm still kind of like, is this really 23 years old? Is it really 23 years old? That's what I mean. I think this is new. I don't even think B United existed in 1989. I'm curious about this now. I think this is actually a reissue of the Harvest Ale that they actually brewed in 1999. I do. I'm going to have to look this up. We'll never really do this. It honestly just doesn't have that kind of... Listen, I'm just saying because about 5-6 years ago, I had a 97, 98, 99, and they all tasted like swamp water. And the label looked different. And this lacks the oxidation. Let's see what the internet has to say. Bum, 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 bum. I guess it is, man. I guess it is. I'm blown away by this beer. I don't want to sit here and kind of like make this just me kind of like scrolling on the internet. Actually, let me just go to... Yeah, see, the label looks different, man. The label does look different. No, I guess not. I'm gonna be United's thing. I know this doesn't make for a really good video. It's just how well this beer drinks, and I'll just talk about the beer while I'm actually looking stuff up. It doesn't have any of those big kind of hefty pitfalls that a lot of aged beer tends to kind of find. It's like rich, sweet creme brulee, like brown sugars. Yeah, I'm gonna stop looking up and just drink the beer and enjoy it for what it is. For all intents and purposes, this is $19.99. Well, here's the other thing about it. It's imported by B United. It might not have been imported until like 5-10 years ago. Who knows? A lot of times these breweries over there, they basically just have this front label and they ship it over and they slap on the United States label on the back. It's held up incredibly well, and that's the thing that is kind of blowing me away about this beer is that the oxidation level on this is super minimal. You get that rich, kind of funky, open fern style kind of like combination with the J.W. Lee's yeast that they talk about in the label that is just inherently unique to J.W. Lee's. Almost like, I always make it like kind of like, it's not like Band-Aidy, like an Islay Scotch, but it has some kind of DNA very similar to that. It's almost slightly smoky in a sense. So it's like got these elements of like a peaty mossiness and a slight little smokiness going on that is just inherently unique to J.W. Lee's. The way the actual malt base kind of comes off is that rich kind of creme brulee kind of brown sugariness that is just so delicious, and it's just so decadent, but at the same time it's actually kind of creepily drinkable. Like, it doesn't weigh heavy or anything like that. There's a nice bittering on this. That's one of the reasons why I was kind of like, I don't know, man, this kind of, I think, has a kind of newer vibe to it, because it's not bitter, but you can get this kind of, those Kent Golding kind of bittering vibes off of it. It's not just this ghost of hops past, but everything kind of melds together in a way that it comes up as this kind of, they talk about an accompaniment to a meal. This is the meal for me. You know, I'd like to have a salad. I would like to drink this, and then I'd like to have dessert. It's almost doppelbocking in that sense, to where it's hearty enough to stand on its own as just sustenance in the most delicious way possible. And you know, I mentioned it earlier. I mentioned it in the unboxing. These old bottles of this beer. Actually, I'll tell you if this beer's old. Let's put it that way. I hate to deface these old bottles, but I'm not going to be able to do it because they won't come off. I was going to look for the Merc ring. See, that's the thing. You don't see a Merc ring. I don't see a Merc ring. I don't see like funky cappiness. That's why it makes me think this beer is not as old as the bottle. I know I shouldn't second guess it and just, not gift horse. Look the gift horse in the mouth kind of thing. Well, let's put it this way. This does not drink like a fresh JW Lee's. That is not the case. It just doesn't drink like a 23-year-old JW Lee's. So that's where it kind of makes my brain kind of break. Because it drinks... Actually, I'm lying to you. It drinks like a 23-year-old JW Lee's if it was taken care of perfectly. Like, it was like bottled with zero negative oxygen. It was taken care of so hyper well to the point where this is what you'd probably expect from a beer that was kept pristinely, perfectly. But these beers never do that. You know what I mean? That's where I'm kind of like freaking out about it. Is that it just doesn't. It's missing any flaws. And to have a beer miss really any flaws from an aging standpoint, at 23 years old is just, it's like I can't believe it. It's just like, it's like when Steph Curry's like shooting jumpers from half court and just swishing them. And you're like, this is not possible. Is this like, CGI? Like, why is this happening? It's not what normal humans do. It's kind of like the same thing with beer. And like to have something that is, a 1999 beer, a 23-year-old beer drink like this, I just can't believe it. My tongue, my taste, my stomach, my brain, my soul refuses to believe this beer is 23 years old. It drinks like an aged beer, like I said, but it lacks all those kind of little ticks and niggles and all these little things that you tend to get with aged beer. That's where I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Thank you, Carson, very much, because this is freaking fantastic. Yeah, it's date fig juice. It's like prune juice, alcoholic prune juice, sweetened alcoholic prune juice, in a very good way. Like, people think prune juice, ugh. No, if you made prune juice a date and figs, made it alcoholic, and made it delicious, threw some raisinets in there just to give a little bit of body, and little malt balls, maybe sugar daddy, liquefied, yeah, all that stuff that I talk about all the time. In a core 4 beer, bottle condition. Very apt beer for number 4,000, because I can't believe I made it to 4,000. I can't believe this beer is 23 years old. And I can't believe someone sent it to me. Thank you very much, Carson. That's very cool. Thank you very much. It's delicious, obviously. What do you want me to do? Talk about the beer more? Oh, I'm getting little bits of that smoky thing and a little bit of that peat moss. It's absolutely delicious, but it's also slightly an acquired taste. With Harvest Ale being what it is. I don't think it's for everybody, but I also don't think you buy this on a flyer. Not necessarily this vintage, obviously, that's few and far between, but you don't generally buy just JW Lee's on a flyer. I think the people that drink these beers, the Harvest Ales of the world, the Hardys of the world. I think they know what they're getting into, and they know what they want, and it can be a crapshoot. You know, when I posted the unboxing video, and both on YouTube and also on Instagram, I had people be like, I had a JW Lee's that was 10 years old the other day, and it was fantastic. And 2 minutes later, I had a JW Lee's 10 years old the other day, and it was hot garbage. That's part and parcel with aged beer. More often than not, you just kind of hope the beer has a kind of positive oxidative state to it, which is a thing, and just held up really well. And even if it does have a little bit of kind of nicks and bumps along the road, it still drinks really well. You're just not gonna get this, where it's absolutely 100% pristine to the point where you're not even like you can't process the fact that it's in this well of a condition. So you start second guessing yourself whether it's like a reissue, because they just like, yeah, we just rebrewed 1999 and we put it out last year. That's like what I'm talking about. But it doesn't drink like a fresh one, so it kind of makes sense. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point, but you know what? It's the 4,000th video. It's 4,000 video B, 4,000 beer review, or A. This is A. The other one's B. So I can do whatever I want. So you're gonna get like a half an hour of content in the same day for me, which is not something that happens quite often. As of late. And I'm like really deliriously tired from doing She Shed stuff. Massive home base. Home base. That's what I'm calling it now. And this works. Works on multiple levels. Fantastic beer. Calling out 4,000 videos sent to me by a great... I can't wait till we hang out in person and chug a beer in real life, Carson. One of the more prolific beer senders, beer mailers, and all around great duders, Carson. And just I gushed in the other video. Go watch me gush about the years and the times and all that kind of fun stuff, and just say he got me this beer from this place, Bull and Bush Brewery. I'll put it up here. This is where he actually got this from, and if they have any more of these, I implore you to go get them, because this is one of the best old ale / barley wines that I've had quite some time, if not ever. Yeah, I mean, I've probably had ever. It might not Mount Rushmore, but over the past couple of years, absolutely that good. Because honestly, you're really, I'm an old stock hardy first with long haul aging. JWLEs, typically the barrel aged ones really do me proper. Calvados class, Lagavulin cask. I'm looking at you. Actually, all of them. But this is worthy of being up there. And as of late, absolutely Mount Rushmore status. So, yeah. Let me know your thoughts. Have you had this vintage recently? Because if you did, we should just talk in general, because that's cool. Have you had several different vintages of this over the past couple of years? Let me know your thoughts. Again, like I said, crapshoot. Sometimes they're going to be good, sometimes they're going to be bad, but we should talk about it. Yeah. And what do you think about JWLEs? There's more than just Harvest Ale. They have Moonraker and Old Engine Oil. No, that's Harvestance. But you know what I'm talking about. There's more than just this beer. So let me know your thoughts on JWLEs in general, their beers, all that kind of fun stuff. And just say, hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying some good beer right now. Cheers to y'all. Cheers to 4K. Cheers to everybody. Well, most everybody. Cheers, y'all.